Hey guys, thanks for joining today. Today we're going to go over how to brand yourself, and we're going to look at some examples that are just great people who have done a great job of branding themselves in our area. So give me a second. I'm going to enlarge my screen here. Okay. All right. So branding yourself is something that I did firsthand. Austin James didn't just come out of anywhere. It was back when my second year of real estate, I started noticing a trend of people saying, all right, we are a team, or hey, we're trying to show ourselves inside this company and not try and have the company take all the credit. So what I did was I said, hey, I'm the Austin James team. Frangoules is kind of too tough. So I was like, I've got to come up with a name somewhere where people can remember me. And, I figured my first and middle name would be a fantastic job. And I always wanted a team, but at that moment, I did not have a team. So what I did was I started with, my signs. I came up with a cool logo. From there, put it on my signs, put my face on my signs. Did it on my business cards, and then put the brokerage info kind of as small as it could be, but still enough to where it was seen. So then the next thing I was like, okay, what target audience do I want to go after? Because when branding yourself, you have to have a specific niche. And the best thing I was looking for was younger people, millennials, or people that was really great with technology, because the main people I was going after was online leads. So I was specifically going after people who would either go on technology all the time, or people who are around my age or like within the next 10 to 15 years of me, to people that I can relate easily with. Because when you can do that, then from there it's easy. It's cake. Like my most favorite instance was when I was at the dog park talking to a guy about real estate, and he's about 5 years older than me, but in the military. And a couple months later, I ended up selling him a house. So the biggest thing there was finding that target audience and narrowing down who I wanted. Because when I did that, it made it very easy to just capture that business. And that's the goal. Once you narrow down that audience and that niche, then real estate becomes very easy. So branding yourself becomes very important, because from there, real estate becomes easy, when in most cases it's not. Most people, they're kind of scattered all over the place, don't have a niche or anything. And at that point, all right, Lee, at that point, they just become scattered and all over the place, thin ice, and that they're not sure where to get the business. So when you find that niche and dominate it, then it actually starts branding you. So that's a start to branding yourself. The next thing you're gonna have to do is figure out a social media presence with that brand, and that's always the tough part. When you're doing social media, there's a million people out there doing it, so you have to be unique with it. The best example I can give you is Dan Inman right now at our company. He is an awesome dude doing some amazing things with social media that is completely irrelevant from real estate, but he's getting a lot of people to look at him and to know what he does, and from there his business is really excelled. So I want to actually show you guys a couple things that Dan is doing, so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. I'm going to share my screen here, and now we're going to pull up Dan's Facebook, and you guys will see exactly what I mean. Dan, you're welcome for the extra shout outs today, just helping you out. So we'll go to Dan's page. We're going to scroll on down. He does a lot of sponsored videos, but here is his most recent video that he did.
I love Norfolk Show. Forget what episode we're on, doesn't really matter. Today we're here with Clayton.
Yes.
The master, or as my kids call you, Professor.
Professor, yes.
Diego Bispo.
Yep.
Busy Norfolk.
DBA Norfolk. I've been here for
Video is messed up. Sorry about that, guys. Video's doing something funky. Anyways, so from what you can kind of see here, what Dan is doing is he's going to a bunch of local business owners and he's talking to them about what they do and kind of like highlighting them, not himself. So his main goal here is to just genuinely become friends with these people and help them through advertising to where it's free for them. It's not costing them a dime. Dan's doing all of it. He's paying for all of it. But the cool part is on this video alone, Dan has over 5,000 views. So on this alone, Dan has exposed this jiu-jitsu company and this owner of 5,000 more people to look at his company. And in this, Dan is getting more exposure as well. But not just that, Dan is becoming very good friends with the owner. And with the owner, they have connections on connections on connections. So this guy, if anyone ever brings up about House, this jiu-jitsu guy is going to bring up, oh, Dan Inman. And this isn't just Dan's first video of this. In the beginning of this video, he even brought up, I don't know which number video this is, and I almost wanted to see if I could find other ones too. Because Dan's videos are awesome, and he does a great job with it. He's made a lot of great connections throughout this entire process. And Dan, for some reason, I can't find your videos on your page, but I see them on my feed all the time.
Welcome back to the I Love Norfolk show. Doing another episode today with Kevin. Kevin, what's your last name?
Ordonez.
Ordonez. I would mispronounce that.
That's all right.
With Alkaline, as always, we are here to tell your story.
So check this out, another video with over 4,000 views. And this is just an Asian restaurant. Like, how cool is this?
What's the origin story of Kevin and what brought you to today?
I mean, so I grew up in a Navy family.
Mm-hmm.
My father was in the Navy. And
so I'm going to pause it so we don't take up all the time. But Dan is doing a very great job on creating these relationships and branding himself as the I Love Norfolk show guy. And because of that, he's getting way more exposure than any of us by just sitting at our desk behind a computer, not meeting people. Real estate's all about meeting people, and Dan is doing an excellent job. And because of that, like, he's picked up so much more business. It's insane. And the best part about it is he's creating these genuine relationships to where he's showcasing these other people and not even talking about himself or real estate, because people's favorite thing to do is to talk about themselves. So Dan has figured out a way how to get in front of these people by saying, I will advertise you for free. I'm going to create an awesome video where I'm going to showcase it to at least 4,000 to 5,000 people. And because of that, he's getting business, creating these relationships with the owners. So he's doing an excellent job, and it's such an amazing thing that he's doing. You can even see here in the bottom right corner that you can see his logo. It's truly amazing what Dan's doing. Dan isn't the only other person I wanted to talk about. A woman that you guys may know about, her name is Susan Pender. Susan is probably by far the best agent in Hampton Roads. And because of that, she's branded herself as the $1 million agent. This girl, she's been in real estate for years, but she just does an amazing job when it comes to high luxury homes. She has made the connections to where they know her as a person that sells $1 million houses. And because of that, the people who own $1 million homes now go to Susan for it. Me as an agent, I could do anything in the world I can to try and get that $1 million property. But if they hear Susan Pender's name, most likely going to go with her because she's been doing $1 million houses forever. Not just that, she's branded as a $1 million agent. She talks about here with relocation, important facts, and all that. None of that is entirely important. The important thing here is that she is branded as a $1 million agent. You can see here that she is basically the #1 agent in Hampton Roads. It even says here 7 years as #1 individual sales agent, Hampton Roads Realtors Association. That is super impressive to get. She definitely doesn't sell the most houses out there. She'll sell between 40 to 50 houses a year, but her average sales price is $1 million. And because of that, now she's selling $40 to $50 million in volume a year, which puts her at the top of the top. It's year after year. Susan is the best solely because she went after the market of, I want to sell $1 million homes. Where do I go about that? And she figured out, okay, if I get every country club, if I become a part of those, if I go where all the rich people go, if I live where the rich people live, because of that, she, again, creates these relationships, these genuine relationships, to where people want to use her as the agent. And that's the biggest thing as well. It's one of my old clients. But because of that, Susan has done an excellent job, and that's why she's the #1 agent. She's solely selling $1 million properties, sometimes $2 million properties, $3 million properties, and some of that is more than most agents will ever see. So Susan has done an excellent job with that. Another person I wanted to talk about is Amanda Martin, one of our agents as well. Amanda has done an amazing job on creating these relationships with military families. I believe her husband is in the military. Her team members are both military wives as well. And her thing is the Coastal Virginia Military Relocation Group. They do an amazing job on just even here, just representing the military and being with military wives. And, you know, with that, she created this niche where people who are in the military want to go to Amanda and her team because of that. It's amazing what they do. And, you know, everything here is about the military, and they understand that world too, which is important. But because of that, they get all this military, and because of that, they get extra business from it. So by narrowing down your niche and branding yourself as the military person, you're going to get a lot more business from it. Again, if you're scattered around and don't know what you're doing, it's not going to work out. You've got to figure out a niche of what you like, what you love to do, or who you're about, and then go for that group of people. There's like 8,000 to 10,000 houses that sell every month in Hampton Roads. So there's plenty of business out there for us to where we can try and narrow down what our niche is, who should I go after, and how can I go after it. And the way you go after it is by being unique. Dan is a prime example of being unique on that. Susan, she was unique by actually going to every event she could or joining every country club she could. Most people aren't going to do that. They'll maybe join one country club and stop from there and try and meet those people. I'm pretty sure Susan's in every single country club in Hampton Roads. And she goes to every event where all the millionaires go. So again, it comes back to creating these relationships. And from there, that's where your business will excel. And I'll talk about one more person. His name is Robert Rogers with Upscale Avenue. Robert has designated himself as the Norfolk real estate agent. If you know Robert at all, Robert loves Norfolk more than anything. Why? I don't know. I love Virginia Beach personally, but he loves Norfolk. He lives in it. He lives and breathes it. He's in every club you can think of in Norfolk. When I went out on the boat with him, I was born and raised Virginia Beach, and I know Norfolk, but not as well as this guy. He took me out on his boat one day in Norfolk, and he was showing me around. He's like, oh, yeah, that's that neighborhood, that's that neighborhood, that's this neighborhood. I'm looking around like I have no idea where I am. It was hilarious. But this guy just knows it so well, and he's in every single part of Norfolk, and he's involved in every part of Norfolk as well, that, again, he's creating these genuine relationships to where if someone wants to move to Norfolk or move out of Norfolk, they say Robert's the guy because he knows Norfolk better than anyone else, and we're going to go for him. Now, he's also trying to scale up to upscale. Robert basically sells any house right now, especially in Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, and all that, but he's really trying to narrow down Norfolk. And not just that, he's trying to make it upscale to where he's going to sell higher priced homes, which he is doing a great job of starting to do that. But because he's going after that, and he even named his company Upscale Avenues, he's starting to get a lot more pricier homes. And so, you know, whenever you sell a pricier home, you're going to make more money. If you sell two $200,000 houses and I sell one $1 million house, I've sold way more volume than you have, and I did half the work. So because of that, he's going for the Susan Pender route where he's trying to be in all of those upscale places, but solely in Norfolk, so he can do that. Susan is basically the oceanfront queen, where she sells all the North End properties, and that's what she was going for. She's like, where are most $1 million homes? And she found, okay, the North End in Virginia Beach, and she actually dominates more than 10% of that area, which is actually mind-blowing when anyone else doesn't come close. So when you can narrow down that niche and figure out who you are and who you want to go after, that's where you're going to be successful in branding yourself. and then creating awesome designs. Dan, he has someone do his videos for him. Robert's husband actually is a graphic designer. So having someone that can actually go in and make your stuff come to life is key. Me, I just create my stuff through Canva. If you guys don't know what Canva is a free software or website app, a little bit of everything to where you can create awesome graphics, designs, postcards. It even says on here, design anything, and it's very true. If I wanted to create an invitation, this is a super cool invitation that they've already created, and I could go in and edit it to my own. Now, there is stuff that you would have to pay for if you wanted extras. Me, I only do the free stuff, but because of that, you know, I'm saving money on my end, but I got good at creating graphics. Most people need a graphic designer, but that's when you go to Fiverr. And Fiverr is almost a freelance company to where people on there will do just about anything that you can think of for a minimum of $5. And it can go up. Fiverr used to solely be $5, but now it goes up. So something that I use Fiverr for all the time is for extracting photos and making to where it's just a transparent photo. I used someone as our spokesperson one time. So if you guys ever saw our UAM video, that's who we had do it. But people on here will create graphics, they'll create logos. This person says, I'll create a modern logo within 24 hours, and they do a great job. They could range anywhere from like $5 to, I've seen it as high as $1,000. But this guy says starts at $20, and then when you click on his page, it'll actually go up depending on what you want. So he has the basic here for 10, the standard here, which would be 55, and then the premium here, which is 105. But you can see that it has a bunch of different stuff. But it's cool because he can create awesome logos. And I don't know many of you that can actually create very cool logos like this. I can't even do this myself. So that's where our logo came from. Actually came from Fiverr, someone we found on Fiverr that is good at what they do. And when you can outsource something like that for a cheap cost like this, then it truly becomes well worth it. So if you guys can brand yourselves to find a specific audience that you want, find the specific niche, and then have people that create awesome content for you. If you can yourself, that's great. But like Dan needs help with the videos, others need help with the graphics. And then when you can share it to yourself and really start pushing a specific audience, that's where you guys will do well in real estate and become very successful. So if you guys ever have any questions about branding yourself extra, just come to me, come to Dan, go to Amanda, go to Robert. You know, learn from these people because that's what I did in the very beginning of real estate. I would just ask people what they did, how they did it, and, you know, from there, kind of make it my own. And you guys can do the same exact thing. So if you guys need anything else, always feel free to reach out. But definitely, if you haven't started branding yourself now, start soon, find that specific audience, and go from there because you guys will definitely be successful if you do that. So you guys take care.